Have you pressed record now, Ed? Can we
I
actually
have.
start this podcast?
Yep.
Excellent. Course we'll lose, boss. We'll kill loads of orcs, and then we'll win for a bit. And then some tougher orcs will find out what happened, and then they'll come and paste us. And then they'll laugh and tell the stories of the time they kicked the red gobbo's head in. And then their grots will hear, and they'll think, hang about, red gobbo, and then I'll be back.
That's very, very introspective.
Technically, the red gobbo is a 40k goblin, but you just can't.
Oh,
It's Christmas. You can't not have the red gobbo at Christmas.
that's disgraceful. Obviously, I did a Christmas live stream, so you'll be seeing this on Tuesday, the 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas. Merry Christmas to one and all. If you celebrate, hope you have a great time, and if you don't celebrate, have a great day anyway. You know, why limit
Enjoy your
it?
day off.
Yeah. If you get one, but just baseline, have a good day. But the week before, the Tuesday, I did a very serious tier list, which was the rating each army based on how much Christmas spirit they have. And I was very disappointed when I realized that the about hour and a half, 2 hours work that I'd put in to literally edit each image to be Christmassy did not show up at all because the pictures in the tier list are so small. So yeah, there was
You have to zoom in.
no, they're so small that it would just be blurry if you zoomed in. I think I share those on Discord. I maybe just shared them in the VIP section. I was very proud. There was a lot of goblins holding candy canes, and the slan with the candy cane was I think
hilarious.
your favorite. But yeah, we're deep into the Christmas spirit, which is good. How are you normally a Christmas spirit sort of guy, Lewis? No, me
I hate
either.
it.
You
See,
hate it.
Well, no, I don't hate it. I mean,
That's
the
harsh
time
words.
off is nice, but
Yeah,
I don't have kids, and I've
yeah.
been told that when you're just like an adult, it's not as the magic's gone,
Mm,
and then as soon as you have kids, suddenly the magic comes back, and suddenly because they're really excited, you get excited. And
nice.
I won't lie to you, it's the 22nd of December when we're recording this, and I have not yet put the Christmas tree up. It will go up tomorrow, either this evening, depending on how long we're recording for, or tomorrow morning, in
Lewis.
time for the arrival of the mothers, both the mother-in-law and my mother. So by the time they arrive, I will look Christmassy, and I'm wearing my one Christmas jumper that I just wear every day in December, and then put it under the bed and never think about it again. And yeah, so I'm hoping at some point, if we have kids, that I will find Christmas fun again. But I like the presents.
To
Presents are
to be
good.
very clear, I want to make it very clear when Lewis says we have kids, it is his better half than both of us, Flo, who's incredibly lovely, and he's not implying that the two of us will have kids. What an absolute mess that would be. Can you imagine? Like, I don't even mean biological kids. If we just adopted, what a state. Like, we'd be able to look after them.
Poor child.
Yeah. I'd been doom scrolling YouTube Shorts recently instead of trying to fix my life. I come across a comedian who was talking about having kids with friends in a shared accommodation setting, and the line that struck me is like, 6 dads. That's almost as much emotional support as one mother, which I think is maybe not true all the way across the spectrum of dads, but for us two might be correct.
I wouldn't know where to start. What do I do with this human?
Yeah. So anyway, we're not having children, the two of us. That would be a terrible, terrible idea. But anyway, moving back to Christmas, I am also not a particularly Christmassy person. My brother, the one who got married this year, his birthday is on the 15th of December. So growing up in our household, Christmas started from the 16th. You always hear about kids who have their birthday too close to Christmas and they kind of get screwed over and they only get one, they only get one celebration as opposed to two. I think my parents did a very good job of never letting that slip. So for me, 16th of December onwards is Christmassy. But I don't have any decorations here, despite having lived here. I think I've lived in this building for about 10 years. It's still in my head just a temporary place until I find somewhere nicer. So I don't decorate or anything. But I'm going back to see family the day.
Nice.
By the time this episode's out, I'll be back in Durham seeing my family, which will be good. But yeah, I'm actively trying to get into the Christmas spirit to prove to myself that I'm not actually dead inside. It's just So I think I said in that, I can't remember if I said last episode or in the video that I put out about WTC, I did get a sense of wonder when I was looking out the plane window and looking down. I was like, oh, I am still in there. It's okay. So yeah. Anyway, Christmas. Trying my best this year. So trying to
Yeah.
actively enjoy it. And
Happy.
I haven't had any hot chocolate, any hot cocoa. That's something that I should put on my list. That'll be maybe the first thing to do when I get back to Durham
Yeah, it's a
on
good shout. I need to have
Wednesday.
a mince pie. Not had a mince pie yet either. That's normally a good way of feeling Christmassy. I'll go Tesco's in the morning, get a mince pie,
Mm.
start. I'm cooking, which is always good.
Hmm.
And we're obviously vegetarians, so it'll be nut roast,
Yep.
which I do quite a slightly out there recipe. Maybe it's not too out there. It has like Stilton and courgette and stuff in it, so it's like a cheesy vegetable nut roast thing, which is very
Okay.
nice, I think. Anyway,
Sounds
I have
good.
fake pigs in blankets because even since becoming a vegetarian, I
Yeah.
can't not have pigs in blankets. It's just with the fake meat, which we do generally try and avoid the fake meat because it's not that amazing for you. But yeah, that'll be that. And are you? Question for you, Ed.
Hmm.
Yorkshires on
Yeah.
Christmas dinner? Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Obviously,
Good man.
it's
I
just
thought
the
I was
best
gonna have
part
to
of
leave there.
British cuisine. Like you'll, yeah, I don't know why I've seen. So again, just doom scrolling YouTube. So many people ragging on British cooking. First of all, and I can't remember if I said this last week, but British cooking's great. You could go to a different restaurant every day of the week and have great British cuisine. On Monday, you go out and have a nice British curry. Tuesday, you go and have a nice British pizza. Wednesday, I'm gonna have a British Chinese. So actually, I think you'll find our cuisine is fantastic. But in terms of the homegrown cooking, the dishes that came up with ourselves, Yorkshire pudding is just the number one thing. I don't think you can beat it. And anyone who says that that's wrong or that they don't like British pudding, that's Yorkshire puddings. That's because you've only had like school dinners or Aunt Bessie's. Have actual good homemade Yorkshire puddings. And the trick to that is put them in a very hot oven, preheat the pan that you put them in, oil the pan already. Now, if you're a vegetarian, don't do this, but at Christmas, this is where the goose fat comes in. That's a lot of flavour. And then you put your Yorkshire pudding mix in. And Yorkshire pudding mix is just pancake mix. Like, it's super
Yeah,
easy to do. So, you would recommend Yorkshire puddings 100%. And they should
definitely.
be on every meal that they can tangentially be related to. And they are the best part of Christmas dinner. Even better than the pigs and blankets. And pigs and blankets are pretty
Pretty
damn
damn
good.
good. Yeah. I think I said we had it as a podcast question last time, and I think I said stuffing was my favourite part, um, which I think still holds. But the Yorkshire should absolutely be part of the Christmas dinner,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I don't agree with you, but I'm not going to come to blows with you over thinking that the stuffing is the best part. Like
As
that,
long as the
that's
Yorkshire
a
is
reasonable
in the
opinion to
vicinity
have, I
of the
think.
stuffing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, you can stay. Like, you're wrong, but it's not an offensive opinion to hold. But yes, so we're.
Some people Ed, have criticised us on YouTube for not actually talking about Old World very often.
I don't think
Um,
anyone's ever criticised us for that. Genuinely, I've never seen that criticism.
no, it was a comment on the last video. You must
Oh,
have
was it
deleted
really?
it because
No,
Tony had
I don't think I've
criticised
seen it.
it.
I'll have to go look. That's really funny. So that I can't believe I've missed that. That's great. I love reading the stupid hate comments. Now that
I
may
get
not
the
be
hate
necessarily a
comments.
hate comment. That might just be a criticism. Criticism, constructive
I'm not
criticism.
entirely sure it was either criticism. I think they were quite enjoying it, but I
Oh,
just wanted to flag
brilliant!
it.
I love that. But just on that topic, like constructive criticism's great. Especially when I was struggling with audio issues, there was a while where there were a lot of comments being like, "Hey, you need to fix this, this, and this," and it was annoying. But it was just annoying because I was trying my best to fix it and it wasn't working. But we're hopefully out of that side of things now. So stuff like that, yeah, absolutely. But then occasionally I'll just get someone who's absolutely unhinged, like, how dare you talk about doing hobby? Just go back to ruining the game with your competitiveness. And I was like, well, I'm just going to hide any comments you ever put on the channel. Like, you don't want to be here. I don't want you here. It's not a democracy. It's not... It's what's the other one? What am I? A vengeful dictator. It's a dictatorship. There we go.
It's not a democracy.
But yeah, no, I do appreciate when people give actual constructive criticism. Just to be clear, just to wrap that little section up, I don't just
Yes.
disappear people for having dissenting opinions. It's just when you're a knobhead who doesn't need to be here. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on topic. What was the topic? I think the topic was not talking about Warhammer. I think the topic was Christmas. So you've got your Christmas dinner sorted. I'm gonna be seeing the whole family for Christmas, which is great. So mum, dad, brother and sister. My brother who recently got married, so we have a new member of the family, Joe. It'd be lovely to see both of them, see how they're getting on with married life, and then my sister, whose partner, I don't believe they're engaged, but I mean they're basically engaged, even if they're not. You know, they have a house together. Well, no. They live together. They live together in a house that they own together, and they've been together for ages. But I don't know that they're actually engaged. They might just be waiting because my sister's 7 years younger than me, so might just be doing the sensible thing and not rushing into it. But yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that was on the cards. Maybe I'll go back at Christmas and they'll be like, "Oh, look what I've got." So yeah, that'd be nice. But no rush to them. So it'll be really nice to see them and Jake as well, who not married in yet, but will be at some point. So it'll be good to. Already. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, he's an engineer, so he could make the furniture or fix it at least if it was broken. So that's what my Christmas is going to look like. It's going to be nice to unplug from Warhammer. I'm definitely feeling a little bit. I took a bit of a break, but I'm feeling burnt out from Warhammer, which is a combination of it's been all that I've done for a year, but also it's a pretty boring time for Warhammer. And because
we're just waiting.
I love that they told us that we had an FAQ coming. I love that, and I think it's amazing, and they shouldn't stop doing it. However, I don't have much desire to plan for Warhammer stuff. I've got the Masters tournament coming up. That'll be cool. Really looking forward to that. I'll get to see all of the Team England boys in person again. I think everyone's going to be there, so that's going to be really nice. There'll be some faces that I haven't seen in a while who I'll get to catch up with. Some people who I haven't met, which will be nice to talk to. And then also Pash, my number one enemy, my nemesis, in fact.
He's everyone's enemy.
He's not actually my nemesis. He's lovely. I think last episode I did give him grief for stealing my idea to talk about how much you make as an old world YouTuber. But I also don't think he watches my content, so I believe that he probably just came up with the same very easy to come up with idea independently of me. So I should have just moved faster. So
have an idea and implement it.
I've got 3 ideas on the back burner for like actually quite intensive videos that I want to put up, and all 3 of them are on the back burner because other YouTubers have put out stuff not the same, but close enough that I'm like, I have to wait at least 6 months until that video's gone before I can put my video out, because otherwise it just feels like I'm doing their thing. Yeah. And every time I'm a little bit annoyed, but I'm mostly annoyed at myself. Because I've had that idea for ages. One of them, which I'm not going to name what the idea is in case someone does nick it. I had the idea 3 months into having the channel, so this is now like a year and a half ago.
I just on that for a while.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it for about 8 months, and then someone put out a video that was too similar. I was like, oh, I'll just mothball that. And then someone's put out another video that's very similar. So
I think go for it.
I think like February. I think a good time to do it will be post what I'm coining 1.75 FAQ flurry. We'll see what it is. It's probably going to be 1.6 actually, but I'm going to call it 1.75 until we get an official name.
Do we have anything better? Yeah.
So yeah. Post.
Have you decided what you're taking to the Masters yet? Then you're going to take the Bretonians?
Oh, absolutely fuming. So Pash, who isn't my nemesis but is my nemesis, put out a spreadsheet where he's like, "Here's the 24 players who are going. These are the armies I think they're going for," and he's nailed it. I think I'll probably play Wild Herd Beastman or Beastman of some kind. Just that seems like, with the limited time and with the armies I have available and what I'm comfortable playing without a lot of prep, because it's actually quite a short turnaround. It's the second weekend in December.
Second week of Jan, I think.
Yeah. So that's very near, and I've got to go with something that I don't have to do a lot of work for. So it's probably going to be Beastman.
Your heraldry on your Bretonians to be like really nice, don't you? So you don't want to have to rush that, especially for the people that are getting their heraldry put on the.
Well, I did make a commitment to Amy and the rest of the supporters that I would have a video out in December. I was hoping to have it out like last week, but everyone who didn't get coaching in the first 2 months of the year of December who is on the books was like, let me just book in for before Christmas, which is super reasonable. it's not a problem. But I was like, oh wait, shit, I've got a lot of work to do. So I've been pretty rushed the last 2 weeks, and yeah. So what I'm going to do is when I get back from visiting my family, I will then put together. It's just going to be a short members only video because it's members only heraldry, but I will actually get the first video up, and I'm committed to getting it up before the end of the year. So that's definitely going to come. It just is going to come after Christmas because time, unfortunately, makes fools of us all.
It certainly does.
It's
been a good year, though. I think it's been a good fun year for the old world.
It's been all right. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. The phrase that I used to describe what I'd been doing, and it sort of came to me earlier, is 2025 for me on a personal level was more a year of survival, and then 2026 is the year of self-approval. So I'm not going to sit here and necessarily talk about details, but I feel like I'm moving in a good direction, and I've got a lot of ideas for what I want to do with the channel as well. So I'm actually really genuinely excited for 2026, or specifically 2026 after January 20th or whenever it is the FAQ comes out. I've got some stuff that I want to put out before then. No, it just they said at the end of January. Right. So I believe it's coming out with the release of the new Cathay models.
Yeah.
My expectation would be the Sunday that those models go up for preview of the pre-order, so the week before they actually go up for pre-order.
Yeah.
They'll probably, or maybe like the week they go up for pre-order, either or, on the Monday or Tuesday of that week, they'll probably put out the FAQ. That'll be...
Yeah, it'll just be like a random Wednesday at 2:00 in the afternoon or something like they do with no announcement.
I think it'll be Monday or Tuesday. Likely. So I'll be sat at home like this, waiting. With a thumbnail made, ready to go live for a live read through. I do enjoy doing those.
Yeah,
I should go back and watch some because I think I probably get a lot of stuff.
You up.
Yeah. Like obviously reading stuff, you're like, oh, this does this, cool. But like in terms of the effect that it's going to have on things, I'd love to go back and see predictions. Speaking of, I'm really looking forward to going back and rewatching that 2025 predictions video that I did and be like, how accurate was I? Yeah. So there's gonna be some in there. The one prediction that I remember making was in 2025, England and I will win the WTC. Slightly different context.
Half of that came true.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to go back and see. But yeah. Christmas should be fun. New Year's. I want to do something for New Year's this year. I haven't done anything for a long time. I don't know if I will do anything. My partner, who I was with for 7 years, up until July, she didn't like New Year's, so we just didn't end up doing anything, which wasn't a problem. There's no resentment there. But now that I'm not seeing someone, I'm like, maybe I should do something. Yeah, well, careful on that phrasing.
That's what I meant.
I don't know what I'd want to do, but yeah, maybe I'll keep my eyes open. I mean, it's actually
Pop World.
Yeah. The problem is, I haven't drunk an alcohol in 2 years, and I'm not necessarily looking to. I'm not opposed to having a drink. I just haven't more than anything. You
do need to be in Nottingham Pop World at 3 a.m. I think.
I don't know. Does Pop World even exist anymore?
Does it not? Oh,
I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in the drinking game.
At Rock City, the music is good enough that you could be in there late, even if I could stay up that late.
Like when I used to go out in Nottingham, I was in Rock City probably 50% of the time. Like it was the place to be. It's got 3 floors,
You fancy different genres.
Exactly. For anyone who doesn't know, Rock City is a pretty decent live venue in terms of like where we are in the country. We don't normally get big artists coming, but we get surprisingly good artists coming to Rock City, even though it's not a huge venue. So it punches above its weight in terms of live music. But then also,
they're my favourite venues because you get a more intimate experience. A few stadium gigs this year, which have been great, but also when you're in a stadium, it's like the person you're seeing is like 6 miles away, and you're just like, I think I can see them.
I have no interest in doing a stadium gig ever. I used to go to a lot of festivals, and even when you're a little far back, you still get a pretty good view. I can't remember. Yeah, I talked about Iron Maiden on Friday
Yeah.
because someone had put in their Fix My List submission. They'd put a load of Iron Maiden references, which reminded me the last time I saw Iron Maiden play, they threw a flow of Spitfire over the stage, which was a
Oh,
pretty
mate.
good experience. Yeah, sort of thing that you only really get at a festival. I guess it's hard to do that
Yeah.
at an inside venue. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, so wrapping up the year. Anything else that you're looking forward to Christmas, New Year's, or are you just looking forward to the FAQ now?
Looking forward to FAQ now. I think that's very
Perfect.
much as I say. I mean, what's 2025 looked like for me? It's been a good year, I'd
Hmm.
say. So it's the Saffron Slam, obviously taken off very nicely. Did
Mm,
5 events this year, ran 5 Old World events,
nice.
4 GTs, and a teams tournament, um, which is really successful actually. You always it's obviously a smaller community than 40k, and there is as much as I'd love to run events for free and take all the cost on. You can't do that. So there's a business element to it, but it's been so successful. I'm
Mm,
so glad everyone's been coming and enjoying it. We've had 100 people playing at my events this year, which is like crazy. And it's just going from strength to strength, really. So we've already got 20 for February
hmm.
already. And I could go up to 50 in February if I really wanted to. I'd need to buy some more terrain, but we're starting to get
Okay.
bigger, really exciting.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably end up capping around about 32, to be honest, with the amount of terrain I've got.
Mm,
Unless like loads of people suddenly buy tickets in the next week or so, so I've got a couple of weeks to
sure.
actually get all the terrain I need in time for beginning of February. But it's really exciting, and it seems like Old World's going strength to strength. And I think the slam in February will obviously be using the new rules, depending on roughly if it comes in January, we'll be using the new rules. So that's really
True.
exciting.
True.
Um, which would be
Uh,
good. So we have some Cathay players coming that don't feel guilty for playing Cathay, which would be
yes.
really nice.
It's an important thing to have. Yeah, no, that's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it. I obviously my plan currently is to stream 5 games. I will go down
Yeah,
and I will play and broadcast the games, and that should just be a lot of fun to do. I'm not 100%
absolutely.
sure what the logistics of that look like yet, but I've got like a whole 6 weeks to make that work. That's loads of time. So yeah, it'll be okay.
No, had a play around. It's of a slightly different venue. It's a nicer venue, but slightly different layout to where we
Hmm.
had the previous event that we streamed, which is
Yeah.
also a massive achievement in 2025, being one of the first Old World events streamed live, which is really exciting. And it's going to be slightly more challenging for you. Although if you're playing at the same time, you don't necessarily need a little side room, do you? See, you don't need your cupboard. So that'll be all right. It's just getting internet into that room. It was a bit rubbish in the 40k event, so I've already speaking to the council about upgrading their Wi-Fi and getting a cable set up so you can plug directly into it.
Did you stream the? So I'm so disconnected from 40k that even when you run an event, I have no idea what's going on. Did you have coverage at one of the Saffron events for 40k as well?
I've not streamed the 40k events, no. So it was just that we have like checking the Wi-Fi on my
Oh,
phone, the
sure,
tablet. I was
sure.
going around the rooms that we're going to be in, seeing what it's like, and it was a bit ropey in certain places. So I think we'll just have to think carefully when we're setting the event up, where's best for you to be placed, and how does that work for the cabling and the equipment, so that you can get a good quality stream out.
Sure.
Hopefully, all these fun things we have to do,
Yeah.
and
I thought.
eventually, when we're in the big hall and we've got 50, 60 people playing Old World, be a whole new set of technical challenges because it's so loud in there.
Yes, that will be interesting. Although, depending on where we are in terms of actual player base, there is a kitchen that I could just set
Yeah,
up in. So that might be the way to do it. Just have the stream table in the kitchen away from everyone else, which
yeah.
will then be
There's a
echoey. But
side room as
that's
well.
that's its own
There's a
problem.
side room that the big hall is also used for like theatre productions and stuff like that. So they've got like a green room, a side room where all the actors go before they go on stage.
Yeah,
And you technically get that when you hire that hall. So I normally just fill it with chairs and like food and stuff, but like
sure.
that could definitely be a streaming room,
Hmm.
which would be very exciting. And you'd be a self-contained space there. So lots of options, but all this is exciting stuff to come in 2026, I hope.
Yeah, yeah, exciting. Looking forward to it. All right, let's get into what we're actually here for. What are we here for? Wish listing, because all
When do
I
we want?
want for Christmas is an improvement to the game that I have dedicated my working life to. When you say it in those terms, God, it's terrifying. So,
You're such a nerd, Ed.
I mean, I'm not going to argue the point in that. My job is to talk about Warhammer or to coach
Well,
Warhammer.
it's how it used to be.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I don't want to get. No, I'm not going to get sidetracked. It's too easy to get sidetracked. Let's
We were
talk about
almost
actual
talking
Warhammer.
about Old World for a moment there, Ed. And
Are we going to? Stop talking. We're gonna talk about. I need to turn this coffee around because they're not sponsoring me. They should be. Tell you what, Emmy brand. If you'd like to sponsor the Close Order channel, I really enjoy your iced coffees. You could buy me very cheaply. Honestly, I love these things. So please reach out and
You will wear whatever costume you want him to wear.
yeah, absolutely. I'm a moral and principled man, and there are many things that I will take a stand for, and I will sell all of them for specifically iced coffees. Right, Warhammer. So we're going to wish list. We're going to talk about what we want to come. We're not talking about what we think will come. Those are two very different things. So let's talk about what we want to turn up, because that's, realistically, that's the important and interesting thing. You, as always, have done a lot more prep for it. I'm a lot more free-flowing, and Lewis is a lot more organised. If Type A and Type B were a person, Lewis is Type A, and I forgot to turn in my assessment form. So let's start off with you. And you hit me with some of the things that you want to see, and I'm just going to chip in as we go.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go straight off the bat with the obvious one. I think it's time for our lords and masters at Games Workshop to accept that legacy factions are not being dropped by this community, and they should give up on their crazy crusade of pretending none of them exist. And they should just bring them into the game. They should give them an update, even just leave them in the PDFs, but give them an update so the PDFs for the poor Skaven and Lizardmen players actually do something interesting. And they just get them out in the world and just say, we're not releasing models. Here's a set of rules. We'll try and keep them as balanced as possible, but broadly, go and have fun with these legacy factions. I can't see that that's going to be such a massive amount of work that it wouldn't be worth doing for them, even if they're not selling models. And I think ultimately, if they want to do balance in meaningful way, they're going to have to address vampire counts. They can't just leave the vampire counts and continue to pretend they're not a problem. So if they're going to do the vampire counts, they might as well do all of them, and just accept that the community that are loyally playing their game and buying into their world are not giving up on Skaven. They're not giving up on the ogres. They're not giving up on the vampire counts, and that they should be part of the world. They should be part of the game. So yeah, I think they should bring them back and bring them back in a meaningful way.
I'd love to see that. So obviously we're not going to necessarily talk about what we think is going to happen or not going to happen, but just in terms of addressing for people who are excited about that, I feel like, and I've said this, I think, for the last couple of years, I feel very positive about Old World in that I think everything that I want to happen will happen. It just might take like 8 years to get there. And I think legacy factions for me feel like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I think we'll get probably all of the legacy factions back. I don't think we'll get them all at once. I think vampire counts and dark elves are ones that we're probably going to get sooner rather than later. Yeah. In Games Workshop speak, that means the next 3 years. So, I'm not saying, oh, come January. But I think, stuff like Skaven and Lizardmen, which feel way more key to 40k. It's 40k, Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
The other one, they might be later on down the line. I think the only thing that makes me go, actually, maybe there's something is to that, is because vampire counts need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And if they're addressing vampire counts, that opens them up to, well, you fixed one of the legacy factions. Why aren't you fixing all of them?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to talk about which way I think it's going to go on the they touch none of them or they touch all of them, but I feel like you kind of don't do one without the other. So
exactly.
Maybe there is a world where we do see, some balance updates. Who can say?
And I don't think this, like, take Skaven players, for example. I don't want to talk for our ratty friends, but I think they're not naive enough to think that in January, Games Workshop are going to say, oh, we're going to put all legacy factions in, we're going to get all loads of models for Skaven, it's all going to be like the old times, it's all going to be amazing. I don't think Skaven players want that. Well, I think they want it, but I don't think they're necessarily...
They don't expect it.
Yeah. But I think if Games Workshop turned around and said, we hear you, we understand you want to play the Skaven, and you want to get your rat people on the board. Fully in support of that. we don't have the production capacity at the moment to bust out a whole load of Skaven. You're going to have to use the AOS models. In the meantime, we'll try and bring it back 10 years' time, whatever it happens to be. In the meantime, we're going to update the PDF so your rules just work to start with, and that actually you can start competing in the game a little bit better. And we'll just accept that there'll be some Skaven players that go. Because I think even the majority of people that come into Old World fresh, they're new players, the big end of the trumpet. They're going to look at Old World and go, I want to play it, and they're never going to see models for Skaven. So it's not like they're going to go straight into buying loads of Skaven models from AOS and lose loads of money for Old World. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen on the scale that potentially they're worried about. I think new players will still see shiny Cathay and Dwarves and High Elves and buy those because they've got the right branding. But for those players that do like Skaven or Lizardmen or Ogres, just to have the PDF be slightly more effective than they currently are. And for some of those factions, it's not necessarily massive changes taking months and months of work. I think just a little bit of a boost. I mean, they'll have the data from the Renegade pack. They'll know how many Renegade stuff that Rob and Val have put together and like what that's done to the meta where those factions have been used. So they've got a pretty decent baseline of what a positive change looks like for those factions. They might be able to go a bit further than Rob and Val have wanted to go, quite rightly. But I don't think they need to worry about breaking the game because they suddenly make Skaven like the most amazing thing in the world ever. So I just don't know. I'm probably underselling it. Yeah. I don't think it's that much work. Is it going to be that much work to update the PDFs? All the baseline's there. It just needs a bit of a boost, doesn't it?
I just bring back, strength 3, weapon skill 3, giant rats. And then, I honestly might be happy with that. I want more than that. But back, when initially you could go, oh, I've got all of these rats that are fighting in 2 ranks, even on the charge, and they're strength 3, weapon skill 3. Like, I just want to kind of put, a demonology wizard in there. Let's get wild with it. Let's get some Steed of Shadows up in here. Let's do some demonic vessel. I just want my, the carpet of rats that took over the world. But yeah, I think I'd like to see some basic adjustments to improve the quality. Do I think that they're going to tweak rules? Not necessarily. Like, the way Games Workshop fixes things, I feel like we're a long way off the actual full rules rewrites that we see for, 40k, and I think that's a good thing. I think that, the churn, when I was partially in the game for 40k, after I got a bit burnt out with it, but I wasn't fully connected, I didn't have a clue what was going on. It is a full-time job to keep up with the churn and the meta in 40k, and I do not want that for Old World. But I could
every 6 months.
Everyone could cope with some points changes. While that is a little bit of a bugger for people who have a very limited collection, at some point, does the frustration of the people who have had the same models for a while and don't want to have to update them outweigh everyone else in the faction who's having a bad time because their army is massively underpowered and just being able to get an extra 10-15% worth of stuff? Is it the best balancing model? No. Is it the Games Workshop balancing model? Yeah. Is it the lowest barrier to support or to entry? Yeah. So I think I'd like, if the legacy factions get no rules changes but get sweeping points changes, I'd love to see rules changes as well, but that feels like something that could theoretically actually happen, and that would be very cool.
I was just going to say that actually they would keep their rule of not updating the PDFs if changing rules if they just did points.
That's a loophole. I like it.
Yeah,
we're not touching these. We're not updating them. But here's a PDF of full points for every arm, including the legacy factions. We haven't touched it. Don't come in the kitchen, said my mum when I was 6. I'm not in the kitchen, I said, leaning over the boundary of the kitchen with my head fully in, being annoying.
Eating chocolate.
Eating chocolate, yeah. How did you know? But yes. Okay, that's interesting. That actually makes it feel a little bit more feasible, even. Very cool. Okay, yeah. Cool, I gotta give you one. What do I want? I'm just gonna go straight for Cathay. I hope they make balloons interactable with, because right now, with the way that they work with their unbreakable and the fact that they disengage, I want them to be interactable with.
Agile balloons you've ever seen.
And also not overly points efficient. I'd like them to be, because at their core, it is a mobile shooting platform, which has a lot of durability. I would like them to be slightly points inefficient in terms of the output and durability they bring.
Yeah.
but I'd like them to still be playable. And that, I think, puts them in a spot where you can put one on the table in any army and not feel bad about it. And if you're a good player and you can maximize the what you get out of it, they become very, very strong tools in the way that other armies have very strong tools. Because Cathay doesn't have a lot of very strong things to work with. They've got a lot of, like, upfront direct power. They've got the cannons. Obviously, the cannons need to be changed. They've got the balloons. Obviously, the balloons need to be changed. They've got the ring of jet, which they can spam. That needs to be changed. If we get rid of all of these, like, very upfront, very direct, brutal pieces of power, they become a completely different and underwhelming army. The Shigengans would be probably the only thing that they have. Yeah, the Jade Warriors are tanky, which is cool. You know, they've got good durability, but that's kind of it. They don't bring damage. They can hold magic banners very well. They're okay.
Yeah.
The Jade Lancers have no punch at all. The Empire units you can ally in with the Jade Fleet are cool, but there's not a huge amount of play there other than Outriders is typically what you see. So I'd like to see balloons brought down to a manageable level and remove the rules interactions that make them unchargeable. Realistically as well, I'd like it so that they didn't decimate anything that was charged them with stand and shoot.
Yeah.
I think the stand and shoot issue, because they are so efficient with their shooting, maybe you make the Dragonfire bombs like a once per game thing, like, because you take those on top of the other guns you already have.
Exactly, yeah.
So making it like you're paying points and you're getting this very efficient shooting attack once per game, and you still, like, once per game you get to move, like, march and shoot. Amazing. Every other turn you only get to move, lumber, shoot, reserve move, lumber, which is like already a disgusting amount of mobility on a flying unit. So you don't need the additional marching and shooting. So just limit them in that way. Make them a lot more fun to play against, but in, like, skilled hands, I think they should still be a force to be reckoned with. That would be ideal, I think, for me.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense, and I think if you can do that, as you say, because it would be a real shame to make them 500 points and go, and then no one ever takes them. They are quite cool models. I don't personally like them, but I can see that people think they're really, really cool. And as you say, having one in each army does feel like that would be really good fun. So you don't want to nerf it to the ground too much. But that's it. And then when it comes to the cannons, the issue, in your opinion, the cannon itself, or the fact that they've got the ogre loader that allows them to fire twice? So I wonder if you just make those ogre loaders just engineers, effectively, like Empire engineers.
Ogre loaders. So the problem is ogre loaders are just fundamentally, they ruin all of the ways that you interact with a cannon. So you know how shooting works when you're shooting at a unit that has less than 5 rank and file models? You've got to allocate the hits. And the controlling player allocates the hits. So if you get shot, let's say, I don't know, you get shot by a unit of Sisters of Avalorn, and the unit champion has the bow that does multiple wounds. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to put it on the ogre. Oh, what? You maybe one-shot the ogre? Shame. But you don't kill the cannon? Shame. I've already used its buff. Oh, no. Or, you know, you've got Outriders. You put, suddenly the number of models that it takes to kill the cannon goes up by, I don't know, it's not double, but it's like 70% increase in terms of one unit shooting at a cannon. So you just can't interact with them at ranged from ballistic skill shooting due to the way that you assign things. Obviously, cannons and stone throwers still work very well. They do the same job. They don't really care. In fact, cannons are more efficient because not only can you kill their cannon, if you draw the right line, you can kill their cannon and their ogre loader at the same time. Cool. So that's fine. But then if you charge them, all of the units that are in the backfield trying to, like, hunt down cannon crew, you might already struggle to kill a dwarf cannon crew because they're T4 and they might have some armor on there. But what if you're charging an ogre loader, which is 3 wounds, strength 4, AP 4? It's a character, so it can challenge you. So, you know, if you go with a dragon, good luck just one-shotting it and running off. You don't get to do that. You just get locked in combat. So ogre loaders are fundamentally a problem. And then why they allowed a shooting army to have this much upfront power. You should not allow people to stack the Alpha Strike this heavily, and we've seen this as a problem. We've seen this as a problem in Games Workshop games. Like, I mean, we played 8th edition 40k. That was a shooting gallery. Who won those games? Anyone who could do the most damage on turn 1. Do we think that's something that we want to have in our game? No, absolutely not. Being able to just go, oh, I'm going to shoot 6 times, with 3 cannons on turn 1. Yes, they pay more for it, so that should go away. I just think unfortunately, they need to remove the ogre loader or change it fundamentally. Like you say, maybe make it an engineer that can't join a cannon. So it's just like if you're within command range, something like that would work. But I think that's a harder one to fix than it is for the balloons. I think because I can't come up with a satisfying conclusion for that.
Not without, because you kind of like the idea of having the ogre there and making it a little bit more defensible in combat. I think that's quite cool. I think that's different. Potentially not having it as a character for a start, so it can't be challenged out. But at least make it feel a little bit more resilient, because that's just something that other cannons don't do.
Yeah.
So it makes them feel a bit more unique. So I like that. They've just gone too far with it, haven't they? Is what they've done.
Are you forgetting the other rule that the cannon has that makes them unique, which turns off swift stride and lowers the movement of the...
Oh Christ, I forgot about that completely.
Jesus. Yeah, that needs to go. That's awful. Like, again, giving
why have they got that?
Giving a gunline army a tool to just stop the aggressive army from running at you is pretty backbreaking. Now, I think swift stride has its own issues, but I don't want to see it turned off specifically by one army. So, yeah, they need to fix that as well.
That would be a rule that works quite nicely on the rockets rather than the cannons. Because if you're saturating in an area with explosions, I could see that making it difficult to move quickly through.
You know why you think that? Because they literally lifted the rule from Chaos Dwarves. Dreadquake mortars. Yeah. And they were like, we'll put this on a cannon for some reason. Why?
Yeah.
No reason. No reason.
Dave next to me got hit by a cannonball, therefore I'm now slow.
I mean, I'd be... everyone likes to think that under high stress situations they do well, and I used to work in hospitality, so I know I'm pretty okay under stress. My mate gets shot by a cannonball. Rational thoughts gone out the window a little bit. So you know what? Actually, on second thoughts, any unit that's hit has to take 6 panic tests and doesn't get to move next turn because they're like, more cannonballs. You've talked me into it.
That wasn't my intention.
No, but it's where we are. So it's your fault that they will not get nerfed in January. All right, give me your next wish list item. What are you thinking?
Right, let's go away from Cafe now. We've spent a lot of time on them. So I think the old world, personally, I think it should be being played on the greatest stage of them all. And I'm not talking about the Saffron Slam because it's already there. It's the second greatest stage of them all.
Yeah.
The World Championships of Warhammer. They've got Underworlds, they've got Kill Team, they've got 40k, they've got Age of Sigmar. I think it's time for Old World to be a part of the World Championships and for event organisers to be giving out golden tickets to the World Championships so that people can attend and play on... Well, it was in America this year, but there's a rumour it's not going to be in America this year.
Yes.
And play at the most amazing venues with big crowds of other Old World players, having earned your golden ticket through however you earn it.
And have your accommodation and travel paid for by Games Workshop.
Oh no.
We'll just leave it as a tournament that is unattainable by anyone who is not financially well off. That seems like a reasonable decision to make. I don't know. The more I think about the tournament, the less I like it.
Well, the bigger event organisers, they will pay for your travel.
It shouldn't be on you. It's Games Workshop's end of year.
And I wouldn't be able to afford it. But if it's, say, in Europe this year, so the plan for Games Workshop is to start moving it around the world.
Yeah.
So that in those people that can't necessarily afford to go to America, if it's in London this year, that's really exciting because all the European people can get there a lot cheaper and a lot quicker. And then next year it might be in Southeast Asia. So everyone from Japan and China and all the other Southeast Asian countries get a more local event and move it to America and then just bounce it round. So that would be really cool. But as an event, everything I've heard about it is absolutely just off the chain. It's how good an event it is and how much hype it drives. And I think Old World should be up there. I don't think it should be being left out like some forgotten child. It should be there, and people should have the opportunity, if they can afford it and want to go, to go. And I don't think we should be excluded from that.
I will not argue with you on that point, because I don't see why it should be excluded from existing in the same space as the other games. I just don't think that the way that they have it set up is good,
No,
personally.
that's
But
perfectly fair. Perfectly
that's
fair.
fine. I was too busy being annoyed by the thought of having to pay loads of money to travel to. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a good situation. People would probably, if I got the opportunity, people would probably offer to fund me going. So like, it's not even theoretically for myself. You wouldn't. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Think
Anyway,
of the content.
think of the content. Yeah. I could
Hours of editing you
I
could
could
do
spend
for all
15
four
hours
people to
editing
watch.
for a video that I think is probably the best piece of content that I've ever put out, and have 32% less of my normal subscribers watch it. We were talking about the WTC vlog that before we went live, and how like I knew that it wasn't going to do particularly well because the LGT video that I put out didn't. But also, it's just a shame because I like putting out stuff that's more interesting. I don't want to just talking head in front of a camera. I think I would like to put out a wider range of content, but it's what it's worth doing and what people want to see. Anyway, so I tell you what, my brain is blank and you've got more prepared. My wish list, I hope they put out the FAQ on January 1st. God, I'd love to see that. Like, just make it early. Like, we know it's going to be January. Please just move it up. Just move it up. Make it the beginning of the
on
month.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
That's the classic Games Workshop marketing strategy for Old World. No one will
Actually-
be looking. Quick, put it out now.
Actually, because I'm at the Masters 10th, 11th, please put it out on the 12th. So that then I don't have to, think about... You don't want to like do loads of planning and thinking about the new rules and then go like, oh, but this tournament that we've all submitted our list for well in advance, this is on the old rules. So yeah, put it out on the 12th. That would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, back to you.
Good one. We're counting that, are we?
Well, it's because
so
you've got
I
loads
reckon-
prepped.
Well, I would like to see a world where some of our infantry that currently doesn't necessarily get much of a look in, looking at you sword masters and other special or rare infantry.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Because of its inability to hold any objectives.
Yeah.
Be given a method by which it could contribute to the objective scoring game, and try and get them to a point where they are being more seriously considered. And I, to be honest, I love a game that's got lots of core in it because I just love lots of infantry. So this isn't about necessarily replacing core.
Yeah.
Just changing it so that you still have the same amount of infantry, just get more dragons or whatever. This is kind of, I want more infantry in general, and I'd like there to be more variety of infantry for what people feel comfortable taking.
Yes.
I think there's a number of ways in which Games Workshop could go about that. You could potentially something like if the infantry model is special or rare, it only counts as like half its unit strength instead of its full unit strength. So a core unit of equivalent size quite easily beats it off. But that actually it can still perform a function in the battle, in the game, in a way that means it's scoring points and doing something other than just standing there and unfortunately not doing enough damage.
I think you could just probably so if we think about where the game is, we are in Hero Hammer Edition, right? So most, not all, but almost all armies want to spend 1,000 points on characters because they're the best thing you can do with your points. Then you have to spend 500 points on infantry, on core, sorry. So you have currently 500 points of not core, not characters. If you could just make that good and worth taking, so infantry that scores as if it's a normal unit, sure. Like, are people gonna take 1,000 points of special instead of taking 1,000 points of characters? Probably not. If they do, is that a worse scenario than we have at the moment? No. I'd love to see, multiple units of swordmasters. I think that's interesting.
Absolutely.
Especially infantry units. Infantry units are fundamentally limited, and that's why we don't see them. So if you're saying, hey, let's let, the expensive special slot infantry that never sees any play, let's make that as good as scoring as core, it's going to be worse at scoring because it costs more points per model, so you don't have as many models, so suddenly you've got more of an issue there. But also, like, oh no, someone spent 1,000 points of that means they don't have that second dragon, and that second dragon is way faster, way tankier, and way more flexible than just a brick of infantry. Yeah, I think it'd be amazing. I'd love to see it where it's an actual consideration. It's like, you know what, I might just get two cheapish characters. I might only spend 400-500 points on characters because I want to spend 1,000 points on special. I want to run, here's my Phoenix Guard, here's my
Yeah.
Swordmasters. Maybe we're in a world where like let's take Phoenix Guard, Swordmasters, and White Lions as a legitimate like I want to put one of each. Yeah, 300 points of each, but all of them can hold objectives, and each of them has their own special role. And I am specifically mentioning elves because I think elves really struggle this edition, and one of the reasons that they struggle is all of the cool stuff they have, which is their cool infantry, just doesn't get used. So
Can't do anything.
yeah, seeing that would be great. The alternative for that, it's just give us more armies of infamy. Like like there is a Swordmasters one, there is a Phoenix Guard one where like you can have one unit of this in core. Cool, I'll take it. I'll just play the same high elf army that I was playing, but instead of taking bad core, I'll take good core.
Cool. Yeah.
Sure. I like that less. I'd much prefer what you suggested, which is just allow us to have them.
Make stuff available, and then I guess Games Workshop set it at the level that they think is the right power boost for those units without going too far with it. But as you say, you take 1,000 points of special, happy days.
Yeah, and also like cynically for them, oh no, the meta's changed, and suddenly people need to buy another box or two.
Yeah,
shame. Like cool.
January boost.
Yeah, this is a win-win for everyone because people want to play different stuff, and they want to run. Like how often? I guess but like I'll be talking to someone like, oh man, I wish I could use my Infernal Ironsworn or my Chosen Chaos Warriors. I was like, wouldn't that be cool? So what's the goal of this list? You want to go to a tournament and do well. So. Slight issue. Yeah, it's like I'm a big fan of putting like one inefficient choice into a list. I think that adds flavor without making it too difficult to play. But when we're talking like 500 points of a special character, for example, like special unit, it becomes very difficult to finagle that in, unfortunately.
I'm reminded of a guy called Elijah who came to the last Saffron singles GT and brought an entire list of Frenzy. It was a chaos list where everything had Frenzy.
Yeah,
and he obviously came dead last, but had such a good weekend. And I feel like he should be allowed to do that and not just instantly come last. Like, have a little bit more play. Because it's loads of infantry everywhere, cavalry everywhere. But yeah, maybe it was the frenzy rather than the fact that they were the chosen Chaos Knights that was making them bad.
Yeah, maybe.
But he should be able to take those models and not immediately lose.
Chosen Knights are actually okay. I was against them, and then Adam Slutsky, who's been on the channel, won SBOT 2, won SBOT Toronto, so he's done very well with them. And I've played against him with the models. He definitely has shown that they are very playable. The problem is with them specifically, it's like the opportunity cost. I like them, but if you're taking them, you're not taking a Warpfire Dragon, and I really do like a Warpfire Dragon. They are pretty good. They're pretty solid. But yeah, okay, I guess it's my turn. And during that, instead of thinking about what I should be saying, I was listening to you and engaging in the conversation, which I tried not to do in general, but it's really caught me out here. So what would I wish list for...
appreciate better content.
The better content is me not listening to you, so I've got a point ready to go. What would I say would be my next sort of wish list? I would like to see, and I'm going to cheat a little bit, this is not necessarily an FAQ thing, but I'd like to see in the next edition, when we get that, the disparity between fast stuff and slow stuff brought a little more in line. So I'd like cavalry, right now cavalry is faster than infantry, but their charge distance is dramatically further, but then they don't hit super hard. I'd like to see the movement, like the power budget taken out of the movement a little bit, and maybe put a little bit into the actual offensive power of the cavalry.
The impact.
I still am a firm believer of if you're just if you're running at a wall of brick of infantry with combat res, and they stop you from using your first charge, and then you bounce off them, that's on you. You should have used that mobility stat better. But it would be nice to be less leaning on the movement stat and more just a little bit more oomph. So you could run a Bretonian list that goes, actually, I really want to run 3 Lancers of heavy cavalry, including some Grail Knights. And the Pegasus Knights, they're nice, and they're a good vehicle for the characters, but actually, maybe I just take 3 Pegasus Knights because I really want to take that brick of Grail Knights that I'm going to, supercharge the 9s. And that's going to cut a hole through my opponent's lines in a way that, I don't
It
think.
was thematic.
Yeah, exactly. So just like rebalancing the power on the faster stuff, so it's a little bit slower, but it's just a little bit punchier, maybe a little bit beefier. I think that would be a lot of fun for the game.
This is very crude. For all of your, say, heavier cavalry that you want to do damage with, you swap Swift Stride for additional wound or an additional attack.
So I think cavalry used to have 2 wounds and 2 attacks or something like that. Like the way people talk about them is they're very anemic in Old World compared to what they were. The problem is I don't know that I want that. I don't necessarily want people to be going, what's the best Death Star? Oh, let's just go 10 Blood Knights. Oh, now they've got 20 wounds and they've got 3 attacks each. That seems pretty miserable. I don't think that's the answer. Maybe Swift Stride. Oh, hold on. I'm cooking. Maybe Swift Stride gets changed. Instead of being plus 3 inches on the declarable charge, it becomes like, hold on, 60. Maybe they don't get extra range on the declarable, and they just get an extra D3 of movement.
More reliable, yeah.
But it comes with like a sort of Furious Charge style bonus. So anyone who's got Furious Charge doesn't lose the fact that they already have it. So Orc War Boys don't just get, cucked. But you get like an extra, so you get an extra D3 inch of movement. So you get a little bit of reliability in there. You've still got the extra charge range from 7 inches. And then you also get +1 attack on the charge.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, that could be solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good idea. I think the declarable charge range, I think, is the problem, rather than the fact that they're quite reliable at charging over decent distances.
Yeah.
I think suddenly make their declarable charge range 13 instead of 16 inches. Actually, that's an infantry unit facing up against that. That's one movement phase they catch you in terms of you're suddenly in both charge ranges. So I think it puts you in the infantry suddenly get a much more better play into that by just simply taking 3 or 4 inches off the declarable charge range.
Yeah.
You don't then need to be quite so standoffish. Well, you can't be quite so standoffish with your cavalry if you want it to project threat, but also be in a position that it can't necessarily be hurt itself. You just get fewer options to do that with cavalry, so you're more encouraged to try and either be better with placing them around the flanks and things like that, where they can use their maneuverability, but also you have to get closer, so you have to take more risks if you want to use them.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Cool. Yeah, something like that would be fun. But this discussion really reminds me of the adage that communities are really, really good at finding the issues in games. And what are they bad at? Actually balancing and fixing them. Now, I think, I'm egotistical enough to think that maybe I'm a little above the average on that. I've applied for rules writer roles in the past, and not to have the same rant. Didn't get the job, but did see some of my rules make it into an FAQ. We'll leave that one. I'm not gonna rant about that again. I've done that multiple times on multiple podcasts.
That's what you've done.
Anyway, so outside of that, one thing that I do like is when we do see these balance changes coming from Games Workshop, usually what will happen is if they make an actual change, I'll be like, huh, that's cool. Like, I would not have changed infantry the way that they changed it in 1.5, and I quite like what they've done. People say that you don't want to charge and you have these weird standoffs with infantry. That has not been my experience. I don't know if I'm just playing specifically more like high-powered things that want to be aggressive, and I'm leaning on like Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel and stuff like that, but I don't find in my games that there is an issue with like infantry standoffs. I feel like the rules that they brought in are generally pretty good. So I'm more excited to see what they do to fix the issues with the core game as it stands, as opposed to wanting to change things in my vision specifically.
Yeah, I think I've only found standoff issues when you're standing off in a location when neither of you are on an objective. True. One party is sat on an objective, I think even if the stats don't necessarily work in your favour, you have to take the risk. Otherwise, they're just going to pick up 30 points, 60 points, 90 points, 120 points, 150 points. And suddenly it's like, well, I might as well have gone in and lost a few infantry on the way in.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down as well to why were you ever taking a one-on-one fight? Why are you playing fair? Like, take
if you're the
multiple
one
charges.
in the charge,
you
you should There should be some spells there. There should be a character.
Yeah,
There should be something that's giving you, even if you are just one block versus one block,
yeah,
you're in a position where actually your block has been buffed to a point where it's slightly better, or you've debuffed your opponents to a point.
yeah, yeah.
If you can.
Absolutely. You gotta stack the odds in your favor. Never take a fair fight if you can. Cool. Do you have any last point that you want to go with for wish listing, or should we move on to the questions?
One more is
Yeah.
the vampire counts question. Two issues I see with vampire counts that most everyone identified to play vampire counts straight off the bat, so I'm not special in doing this, but Graveguard and resurrecting. Clearly the two problems there. Given what we've just said about special and infantry, we think they should be in a position to be scoring. My original fix for Graveguard was just don't let them be core anymore. But if we are in a world where special infantry are allowed to score objectives,
Yeah.
which I think is a good world for the game overall, that doesn't necessarily fix your Graveguard issue because it's like, oh no, I've got to put some more skeletons in. Well, that would mean you've got to put a lot more skeletons in to make up for the 300 points you're spending on the Graveguard unit. So
Significantly
potentially
more.
does swing the maths just doing that.
Yeah.
But something about the Graveguard makes them slightly obnoxious to play against.
I mean,
And
I
that's
can tell
the
you if
reason-
you want.
It
There's
links-
a long list of things.
well, exactly. There's many things that make them obnoxious.
Yeah.
And then it just links to the resurrecting after that, potentially. I think if you can fix that, potentially do you fix the Graveguard at the same time?
Sure, but like even just thinking about it, if you couldn't take Graveguard in core, but you still take them in special and they still score.
Yeah.
If you can take good infantry yourself, does that kind of fix the issue a little bit? So
Yeah.
stuff like Swordmasters with an extra attack from high magic, obviously they're not going to just like cleave through them in one go. But if that's the unit you're putting in the front of the Graveguard, while you also hit them with a dragon or some dragon princes, probably not dragon princes because you're spending all those points on special. But like if you combo charge it with something in the flank that's pretty hitty, suddenly is that a better chance of cleaving through them in one round of combat as opposed to just being like, oh, guess I didn't do the mathematically unlikely thing, and now I lose slowly. Maybe that's the answer. Just giving everyone else some more play instead of taking away tools. But also, I think they just need to revert the regen, or like stop specifically say crumble doesn't work with regen. Like I like the change where it's more you lose the wounds from the cannonball and then you take multiple saves. It feels better for everyone involved. Like you're not just going, oh man, I rolled 4 wounds in that cannonball. Damn. If only they hadn't rolled a single 5-up save. That sucks for me. Instead, it's like, oh, I consistently do, 2 wounds to you with the cannonball, and that just feels about right. So, yeah, I think if they fix it, but fix it in a way that doesn't change regen back, would be cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think when it comes to resurrecting, simplest fix, crudest fix would just be to potentially not allow you to cast more than one resurrect on a unit in any given turn.
Ooh,
So if you do
okay.
lose 15, so I've frequently got into a position. It's say this happens every other game. I would say I get to the point where someone does get a good combination off onto the Graveguard, a couple of units in because of my poor positioning. That I'll lose like 23 out of 25 of them, and there's 2 left, and then I'll do 4 resurrects on them, and suddenly they're back up to 20 plus Graveguard again, and all the combos that the other person's pulled off are just effectively wasted because the whole unit's come back.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not difficult to do. You can do that. A Mortis engine with a 35 point upgrade, and then 2 cheap necromancers. And as long as you've got your flag still alive in the Graveguard unit, then you're basically almost guaranteed to get. Well, what's that? It's a
BSB's not. Maybe the
20
fix is just BSB's not allowing rerolls of leadership tests for undead. Maybe that's the solution. But I mean, I was going to say, there's a reason that it's a pretty well-known number that you're going to res back 17 Graveguard when you see the level 4 with the Scepter of Tenero, and then also just a level 3 wizard in there as well.
Exactly.
Like, guess I have to kill, okay, they've got 28 models, cool. So in the first round of combat, I'll kill X, they'll bring back 17, and then I have to kill 28 minus X plus 17 over 2 rounds of combat to mathematically kill them. Can I do that? No. Okay, cool. Guess I don't kill the Graveguard.
Yeah. Whereas I personally don't think there's an issue with the resurrecting being more reliable. Some people say you should turn it into a spell. I don't mind the resurrecting being reliable, but it's the stacking of it that I think is the problem. So if actually the maximum amount of Graveguard you could get in one turn was 7, then I don't think that's anywhere near as much of a problem as has been previously, because I think they're still a resilient unit, so you still just can't blasé charge into them. But actually, if you do pull that combo off and you do get a good hit front and side, or get a good couple of spells off, and you do a lot of damage and lose a load to crumble,
Yeah.
then actually they're not getting 20 back, they're only getting 7 back, which means the next turn, okay, you've lost your charge bonuses or whatever the buffs got you into that really positive position in the first place, but there's actually only 10 Graveguard left.
Sure.
And suddenly you're winning that fight over time, you're grinding them down. And I think potentially if you can do that, I don't think you necessarily have to change the mechanic of resurrecting or the mechanic of the BSB. You just need to make it that you can't pull off the crazy combos that give you 45 Graveguard back in a turn. And then you think about how it targets Blood Knights, for example, as to potentially think, because it is quite reliable on a level 3 or level 4 wizards, just to get immediately 4 Blood Knights back. And actually, potentially, if you just swap the cavalry so you start to roll D3, suddenly that's much less reliable. You maybe only get 1 Blood Knight back, which massively swings the maths if you can't then stack them.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of changes there that would help vampire counts.
Sure. Cool. All right. Well, that takes us to the end of the speculation. Just very quickly, to answer some podcast questions. We don't have that many. Obviously, there wasn't going to be a live episode, so less people put them in. Renegade Clown Enjoy says, if you're pre-recording the podcast episode, are you answering this question live, or is it a pre-recorded answer? It's a pre-recorded answer. I hope that helps. Then Goldfire says, pizza tier list when? Because there was a lot of chat in the VIP section about various terrible pizzas. Maybe we should do that. Do you have strong feelings on different pizzas?
I have, if I'm ordering pizza, start with the margarita base, then add red onion and add pepper, maybe olives. Leave it at that. Nice and simple.
Not what I asked, but thank you for your pizza order.
I assumed you asked me what my favourite pizza was.
No, I said, do you have strong feelings on pizzas? Like, you know, would you look at some of the pictures that they put in the questions channel and feel, you know, vehement rage? So Steck put in a picture of a white cheddar bacon mac and cheese pizza, which is sloppy on the plate. That looks absolutely awful.
I'm not sure the pizza's adding anything to that experience, really, is it? It's just a mac and cheese with some bread.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, I'm a big fan of bread. So, you know, actually, maybe you've got me back on board, because that looks disgusting. Amy, I think, didn't understand and just posted something that looks like a good pizza, which was a double pepperoni and hot honey pizza from Pizza Pilgrims. That looks pretty great. Good choice. Thank you for being a normal person. Then we've got
there's some war crimes.
Jordan. Specifically says they're war crimes, but I am just going to describe some of these. There's a ham, cheese, and kiwi pizza, which is obviously coming along from the ham, cheese, and pineapple. And
for our New Zealand friends,
just to hey, nice, just to weigh in on the pineapple on pizza debate. If you truly care about that, go outside. You know, let people eat things that they enjoy. Get a grip, grow up. Touch some grass. Then there's a full Asian
pineapple on your pizza, you fucking heathens.
Weirdo. Just let people enjoy stuff. Full English pizza, which I'm upset at how much I'm considering that maybe I'd eat that. It's just all the parts of a full English on top of a pizza. So there's some bacon, some sausage, some eggs, some mushrooms, a couple of slices of tomato, which I guess fits, and then some beans in the center. I'm looking at it and going, oh, I'd try that. I don't think it would be good.
I would absolutely try that.
I don't think it'd be good, but I don't think it'd be bad. I think it would just be like, I'd have this for the story of having it, and that's like fine. That would be worth it on that basis.
I guess you have your breakfast and your dinner at the same time, and then you don't have to worry, do you? That's efficient. That's efficient food consumption right there.
Yeah. Then we've got what I think is a stuffed crust pizza, where the stuffed crusts are little sausage bits, like a Domino's style. And then we've got pepperoni and I think anchovies on there, which
or spinach.
No, I think it's anchovies. I think that's probably not okay. That's too many conflicting flavors for me.
Yeah.
Then we've got. I'm going to move on. I don't know what that is. It's some sort of dessert pizza, and I can't really fathom it, honestly. So let's just shift on.
Got a lot of chocolate on it.
And then here's a picture of a pizza that has jelly beans, and also
Peach slices.
oh, that's what it is. Yeah, but then I can see like olives in there and jalapenos. So
Oh,
not for me.
That's not going to be good in the mouth.
And then also a duck's feet or a chicken's feet pizza, which no,
I
absolutely
don't get the
not.
reference.
Yeah,
It looks like ET or something on a pizza.
it's odd. Callum put a calzone that actually looks pretty banging in chat. I love a
Yeah,
calzone. Like I feel
yeah.
like it's a much better choice than a pizza. I don't know why.
Ooh, controversial maybe.
Yeah, I'm fine with people disagreeing. I don't know that I'm right. I think I just like them more. But I wouldn't put a firm stance down on it. You know, people can disagree with me on that, and I'll be fine with it. And then,
On the
honestly,
whole,
the best pizza, and if I only edit one picture in, this is the one that I'll put in, which is just toad in the hole, sausages
yeah,
in a big Yorkshire pudding, and yeah, that looks great. I'm a big fan of that.
I'd be all over that.
And then Vesper as well, misreading the situation, putting a picture of a pizza that they actually like in, which has thin crust olives, spinach, and mushrooms. I disagree. I think olives are disgusting. But again, you know, each to their own. Enough people like them that I'm going to say, fair play. You know, if you like it, you like it. I just don't understand how.
No, and I'm not a fan of spinach on pizza either. I think it goes all a bit wilty and horrible.
Okay. I don't have a strong feeling on spinach and pizza. I'd eat it. Like, I honestly, my favorite pizza is just like a really well done margarita. Like, not as in overcooked. I just mean like a really good margarita.
Can't beat it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No shame there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anything to round us out with?
No, I was expecting some podcast questions, but no, that was literally just
That was
talking
it.
about pizza.
Yeah.
So we've solved the balance patch for Old World. We've had a great 2025.
Yep.
We've picked our favourite and least favourite pizzas. I call that a great success for an episode, Ed. I don't